Hello, everybody. Welcome to Stab 4 with audio commentary by Joshua Patrick Dudley
and Rachel Alexandria Arnold.
Here we are to holla back and to watch Stab 4 with you and give you some special insights like this Sunrise Studios logo that came from the old Scream 3 website. And look, here we go. We're right into the movie. This obviously is my house. We see this house all the time in every single movie that we ever make.
It's amazing.
Right? And wait for it, and umbrella. And one of his taillights is that I always thought that was funny. That was actually Alex driving the car too, it wasn't Amanda.
Oh, I didn't actually know that.
And all of this is dubbed. Like, none of these lines worked live. Like, the audio was so bad that we had to dub it.
So if you think our audio is bad, just think about it.
Just think about it. It has come a long way, which we're still working on fixing. Amanda's great. I like her business outfit here. Like, the business jacket really works.
I do, too, except that she's swimming in it.
Well, she's a teeny tiny little girl, you know?
Late night, Miss Graham?
Oh, how many takes did that line take? Thank you,
Forever.
Adam. Thank you, Adam. That's actually in the bloopers. If you haven't seen it, watch the Stab 4 bloopers so you can see.
Late night?
Late night, Miss Graham. Miss Graham? Miss Graham. Graham?
Ooh, the double-doored elevator.
Oh, yeah. Brings back some scary thoughts, huh?
Yeah, close that door.
Close that door. And let's just stay on her in this elevator for an exceedingly long time. I mean, what else do we have to do? Oh, that was only one floor? What's going on? This was my attempt at trying to build some suspense. Is it working?
It's funny to see the ways we used to build suspense and that we do now.
Alright. Rock climbing equipment. We were trying to tie that in because of the rock climbing wall in the house. Some of these lines are actually dubbed too.
The illustrious Lou that no one knows about.
Who is he? Where did he come from?
He's a killer in Stab 8.
Oh my god, spoiled! Sarah Michelle Gellar.
She's so pretty.
So even though this is really Scream 2, this is supposed to be Stab 2 in our movie.
Hey, really?
Bad
Doesn't
cut.
this chick know that someone's in
This
the
is what
house?
happens when you only shoot from one angle.
Stab
You have to
you.
keep recutting and make sure
You've
characters
gotta
look
be
like they
kidding.
jump all over the screen.
They're the only successful horror
Lessons we learn.
based on actual murder.
Indeed.
You mean this shit really happened?
Are you kidding me?
This whole next section is dubbed.
It's based on a bunch of murders that happened in Colorado and Connecticut. For real.
You can totally
They're gonna make a
tell.
third
Yeah,
one. They went
totally.
psycho and killed off most of the cast. That chick, Gale Weathers from that
I like
Top
the
story,
blue
she wrote a
effect
book
that
about
they
the
have
murders
on them,
they did
though.
in
I
that
think
movie.
that's kind of neat. Like, they're kind of glowy.
Really? Movies based on real people dying?
That's live.
That's why I like him so much. Makes him even scary.
I think you need professional help.
Is that why you love me so much? Because I'm crazy?
Stabathon. That was our first tribute, essentially, to Scream 4. Like, that was one of the first things that kind of came out in the rumor mill that they were having a Stabathon somewhere, but...
Look at this awesome cell phone action.
Right? But this is actually a first. This is why I did that. Like, none of the Scream movies had ever had a killer stalking someone via text message, and what a good way to kind of update it and bring it into the modern age, you know? Though our effects may not be primo.
It was actually really difficult to figure out how to do that.
It was. Really, really. And the editing program I was using back then was even harder to use than the one we do now.
Who are you looking for?
At this point, you just don't put your phone down.
Right. They're actually, there were a real couple in real life, too, while we were filming the scene. So you'll notice in a lot of the movies, actually, that a lot of the people that are playing couples are actually couples. Not all of them, but a great deal of them are.
These texts are really weird. Do you know the number?
It's easier because we don't have to force chemistry.
Right, right. They already know each other, they know how to love each other, they know how to be annoyed with each other.
Are you having one of your friends text me or something?
No.
Akon, Amanda Constant, she was really prepared this night, though. This was impressive because I don't think you were there that night.
Mm-mm.
No. And so it was me, like, in the costume and filming and trying to do everything, but she really gave it up. Like, she knew all of her lines, which can be challenging for some people.
I think if we were ever to draw a caricature of Amanda Constant, she'd just be hair. That's actually part of what I really love about her on camera, is that she's all hair.
Right, me too. It really gives her a distinct look to her character, too. And it's very, I always thought kind of Drew Barrymore reminiscent, you know, like, because Drew Barrymore had bad hair in Scream, but it was memorable hair nonetheless, you know. And her character, Haley, is actually named after my cousin, Haley. But her last name is Graham, to be named after Heather Graham, who played Casey in the first stab inside of Scream 2. You following that?
Shut up, Luke.
This shot was really, really hard to do, and that's actually a computer screen, too, that they're watching, not a TV. And we had to push the whole living room forward so I could get behind the couch to film over their shoulders like that. That's why you only see it once or twice. Here's a shot you'll like. That's pretty much all hair. My favorite scene from Scream 2. Her reaction's priceless, though. You know, that those made such good thumbnails and stills from the movie.
I know that there's, like, we're not the only people.
No.
I do this too when I watch horror movies.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, don't. What are you doing?
Yeah. Everyone, I think, kind of does that, like, yells at the TV. Like, why are you going that way? There's a door right there. But I think that's kind of important to show, because we also hadn't seen that in a Scream movie either, you know? Besides in Scream 2, actually, when, that was scary. What was that thud behind us? Like,
Luke?
sorry, guys, we got a little interrupted.
Luke, you okay?
Actually, at the same time as it happened in the movie.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun, dun dun dun. This is my favorite because nobody knew what this was. That's a picture of Alex peeing in the bathroom. That's why she's so scared, because someone sent her a photo of him peeing.
In the house she's in.
Exactly.
Luke? Are you okay? Luke?
That scream was dubbed.
Haley.
And lighting switch.
Fucking ass.
Speed up.
Yeah. I love that, though. I always thought his throat split came out really, really good.
Fight.
Yeah, finally, she steps it up. She whines through the whole beginning, so it was time that she got to fight a little.
I don't understand why people always go for the elevator. They take the longest.
Right. Well, we went for the elevator because of that back door, but...
No, I know. It was strategic on our point, but in horror movies it always kills me.
Right. Go down the stairs, bitch. You can jump those. Her pen stain on her pocket, I always think that's funny. Oh god, no one sees it coming, do they? Oh god, there he is! Well, actually, there I am. That actually really, really hurt us. This is probably some of the worst audio dubbing in all of the movie, actually. When I was editing it, for some reason, after I rendered the file, the audio came out in different places than it was in to begin with, so there's some different screens.
I just love all the blood. Like, it's so excessive and unnecessary. I love it.
This was
And her
before...
twitching was amazing.
Awesome. And this is actually Alex Wenta filming because he was there, you know? I'm like, who else can we have do this? So I would explain the shot, and he would kind of just try it. And he did a really good job. The old logos, without even the T being stabbed or anything.
I love photoshopping.
Oh, yeah. So these are the four main female characters of the movie. It's starting on the left, it's Audrey Marquis, and then Alicia Vigent, Shannon Nightingale, the original Shannon Nightingale, and then Rhianna Warnock. And the girl in the background is actually Rihanna's cousin, and she was used basically just as an extra to be in the dance scene, so it looked like there was more students than just the people we wrote. And she was a lot of fun. I don't even know if she's actually even credited in the movie. I can't remember. And I can't remember her name, so I'm so sorry.
I told you, what's the problem? Hey,
Oh, hello.
And there I am,
Hi, ladies.
in all my skinny boniness glory.
I love that you're a ginger wearing orange, though.
Orange has always been like my favorite color. That's why I actually shot the orange balls too.
Put your stuff
You
away,
just
find
shot
your
them with a
positions.
ball. Are you serious? I would have done the same
Big
thing.
bouncing balls, hell yeah. This scene was not easy to film.
I can't even discuss this scene.
And the girls actually learned this whole dance in probably, I want to say, 20 minutes before we filmed this scene. So that's why they're all giggling and not sure where to go or exactly what they're doing.
You can see
That's
the
some
laser
dubbing
effects.
too, yeah. That girl in the background.
Oh, taking the camera.
That girl in the background is actually a girl who actually worked at the studio we were in, so she's also uncredited, and she just kind of chilled in the back. Her mother actually owned the studio at the time. I'm not sure if they're still there. Pilates at the mill. But Alicia Vigin actually used to be a backup dancer for a show that I did, so, which was a lot of Britney music. 2 weeks. Notice I say 2 weeks here because at the end of the scene I say 3 weeks. Oh, my awesome Adidas kicks too. I haven't seen those in so long. Those are from like freshman year of high school.
When we first met.
Yes. Oh, here we go. This is my attempt at character development. Audrey looks so different too. I mean, compared to now, she has a pixie haircut.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's just.
No, don't apologize.
I'm always amazed at how hard of a time I have remembering my lines after I wrote them.
Sorry. It's just. I'm
I
having.
experienced that with mine too, so don't feel bad.
So why are you here? Of all the places in the world.
She's great though. Like she's a great actress. She's like she found the character very well, and I think she kind of was Sarah Campbell to a certain extent in real life, minus her family being killed. But she had that kind of innocence to her that a lot of this was new. I don't think she had ever really done any other film kind of stuff. So, but we actually know Audrey from high school. Rachel and I, we did a couple of musicals with her, or chorus and other high school like activities.
We said it looked like a slasher movie.
I remember watching the scene with her, and she hated it. Like, she wanted to refilm it, and I'm like, no, don't worry. Like, it's just a stupid movie. No one's gonna watch it online. Like, no one's even gonna look at it. Blah blah blah.
Boy, were we wrong.
Boy, were we wrong.
Hey, you guys didn't have to wait for me. It's dark out. I don't want to go to your car alone. Seriously.
I love that we paint Manchester, New Hampshire as such a bad place too. Like, it's probably one of the quietest places I've ever lived in.
What's actually funny is when I first moved to Manchester, it was the #1 city to live
Friends that want to help.
in the U.S.
Yeah.
And it's not anymore, actually. It's actually gotten a lot worse, but it's still not nearly as bad as we painted.
No, God, no, not at all. There's no, that we know of, there's no Ghostface lurking serial killers, or every
Don't
time
give
you
anybody any ideas.
right. Every time you turn a corner, there's a gun-toting criminal. Though, there are areas, you know, like smaller areas of Manchester that could be considered ghetto, but for the most part, it's a really nice place, and I wouldn't say we have a high crime rate by any means. This filming was done by, Rihanna's cousin, who was the backup dancer earlier in the scene. So we didn't have anyone else on set. In the first movie, you weren't, like, really my assistant as much for all of it.
I was just a producer.
Just a producer. You filmed a couple of the death scenes when you were there, you know, like...
Wrote a couple of flashbacks.
Wrote a couple of the flashbacks, but it wasn't nearly as intensive behind the scenes for you, you know? Like, it wasn't like, Rachel, I need you to film all of these because I have to kill 22
Except for
people.
the house. The house was a little intense.
The house. Mom's house. At my mom's house. Shannon's house in the movie.
Half the time you see those scenes, I'm hiding somewhere that you can't see.
Yeah, or we can see, like, in the reflection of the fridge. But I love these scenes. These scenes weren't originally in the script. And we added in, A, because I wanted an excuse for someone to address the camera directly for once, and I thought that was an easier way to convey a backstory. And B, because it gave Rachel a chance to do something like we were just talking about, when she goes into her flashback, Rachel actually wrote the flashback sequences to save me some time while I was busy organizing other crap.
Everything else.
Everything else, yeah.
My mom.
So you have Rachel to thank for those beautiful flashback scenes, and Audrey for, let's be honest, giving a killer performance in this scene. Karen's first appearance.
I love her.
Karen became utterly vital to the rest of the Stab movies thus far. Stab 5 and Stab 6 probably wouldn't have happened without her help. She bought us a new camera for Stab 5 and let us film at her house, let us kill her and drag her through the snow, and she let us film in her house for Stab 6 for a good 2 weeks. And we made a mess, and there was a lot of people, and it was hot, and her husband Frank and her daughter Kayla, saints. They welcomed us with open arms, and they were so kind and so sweet, so we can never thank them enough for everything they did for us. This scene is actually filmed in a different apartment in my apartment building. It's on the second floor, and we never see this apartment again besides in here. And the house is actually in Hooksett, New Hampshire, a little bit away from my mother's house.
It's just different.
I think Audrey really saw this as her chance to act too, because the rest of the script is kind of cheesy, because that's what we were going for. And this was the one scene that really kind of required emotion besides the ending. And let's be honest, the ending was not easy to film.
Ugh.
About guys. Everything, really.
Brett Mallard, who is actually Jennifer Mallard's father, but
In real life.
In real life, but playing Audrey's father in this.
Yeah, Dad, I'm fine.
I actually love Audrey in this black shirt too. I don't know why. I just think it's so. Oh, it's a dress. That's right. It's like a polo dress. It was so cute.
I love your like cool lighting effects in the flashbacks too that make them seem more dreamlike.
And those were like, you know, like, how can I actually convey that this is a dream? And I was scared that people weren't gonna like it. It's like rays and weird light effects combined. It's kind of odd. I kind of lit everything red first, and then we threw in like blue, lasery kind of lights. So I don't know. I like it to a certain extent, but I just wish it was easier for me to make, like stuff like that where you can't see her all together. It is kind of weird though. It's kind of ethereal. But the Mallard family, they have the acting gene, huh? Even Jen's brother is a local actor as well.
I don't play favorites, but this is probably one of my favorite actresses.
Oh God,
Shayna.
She's just so fun on set.
She really is. That was a cool effect. That took some time too. She's great. Like, we bring her back. Any excuse we have to bring Shayna back.
Oh, you better believe I took the excuse.
Yeah, exactly. And she's always just great on set. She's so committed, and she's so much fun. Like, so much fun. She really gives it her all, and she doesn't give up. Even in Rachel's movie that she wrote, The Gates, that monologue that she had, 5-page monologue. Sorry that either one of us will cough or sniffle at any point. It is the middle of the winter right now.
It is cold season.
I have my permit. Mom and Dad will chill out eventually.
She's so great, and she's such a natural beauty too, I think. Like, these were actually, this is a cool little fact too, these scenes were actually filmed separately. They're actually, both girls in the scene are actually talking to me on the other side of the car. So they didn't film the scene together because we couldn't align their schedules. And they are in similar places, but they're actually across the street from one another where they filmed.
Oh yeah, Tyler.
This was nice too to give Sarah more of a backstory, like to see that she wasn't the kind of bitch that her character is for the rest of the movie, you know, like there's a reason that she's so cut off and reserved from everyone else.
I'd love to.
That was fun to film too. Right?
I'll try again tomorrow.
This apartment building, again, is just a random apartment building somewhere, and this is actually filmed at a different location. This is in Rhianna Warnock's house, who plays Mandy Myers, who is actually on the phone right now, I think. Yeah. So they're actually only a bedroom away, but they're supposed to be in different apartment buildings. And that Rhianna side was filmed at night, and we got the sun to shine through the shades by hanging Christmas lights behind the shades, like white Christmas
Turn on
lights.
the freaking news, Sarah.
Jen Mallard's entrance. And even with the old camera that we have, I have to say that that shot is one of the prettiest shots, I think, in all of our movies. Like, the way the courtyard's lit, the way the sun bounces off that yellow jacket, and her huge Texas news anchor hairstyle.
Cause of death just yet.
Actual cop footage.
We literally would drive around the city and just try and find police officers working and tape them. And we must have looked so
Vehicles.
creepy.
We have so much stock footage too from the police department in Manchester. I must have filmed 20 angles of that for Stab 6, like with different vehicles moving in and around it. And half of it doesn't even get used ever. That microphone too. That's actually the same microphone that you'll later see in Stab 6 with a different cardboard dressing on it. And it's not meant to be a news anchor's microphone at all.
No, it's my like USB voice studio microphone that I record songs on.
So we take a lot of liberties. Like if we don't have a prop, we try our hardest to make it before we waste crap tons of money on it. Her body looks so sexy in that shot too. Rihanna, you watching this, girl? Damn. This one always bothered me. I couldn't figure out with our editing program at the time how to overlay things like phone numbers and scenes. Remember, I had no experience doing this, so what kind of news anchor, news channel would just have a black background, you know? But that snake that Audrey's about to go talk to is actually Rihanna's snake. And his name actually is like Walter or whatever it is that they call him.
I love when people give old people names. Like Walter, Alfred.
Right?
Watson.
Is that his name? I can't remember. She said it too, but... Another journal entry. Even tighter shots. She probably hated me for that.
Since I've been in New Hampshire.
The lighting in the scene's cool though. Whatever light's coming in
really
from the right.
I just
her
found out
left.
2 of my friends got murdered. So
It was cool.
it's like the same shit all over again. I can't believe it. I don't know what to do, and I don't know how much longer I can keep it together.
Ah, Shannon's house. This is actually a picture too
Go get ready
that we
for
just zoomed in and out on.
We'll see.
And then we go actually inside of my mom's house.
Shan, I know this is bad, but are we just gonna
I
sit here and
miss
cry about this all day?
Marcel.
Marcel was so much fun on set, and he was like a last-minute scramble to get him on set.
Wait, can we discuss these scenes for a second? Because do you remember how many times we had to film this? Literally, we took each individual person because nobody's schedules would align.
No, this scene was awful. Like, it was so hard. I think they were definitely there at the same time, and they may have had one other person on the couch that they were talking to, you know, but we still had to
No, there was
switch.
one missing. That's why we had someone put their arm up. I remember.
Alicia was missing. Rihanna was missing for some of it, and then she's like, they eventually talked to her. Clearly, they were together. That's why we shot them together. That was another example of my horrible editing that I didn't shoot from a different angle. She might have been missing too, actually.
She was.
Like,
There were
it's
like
hard.
3 people that came missing. We had a 2-week time slot that we had to get this done in at the house.
Yeah.
Haley and our man
For
were
reasons
killed
I
by
won't
someone
state.
My mom was away on vacation.
I'm just saying, like in the first half.
And we just kind of made a movie in her house. She wasn't happy, but now she loves us, and it's okay. Lauren Adams' entrance.
Real life
too.
couple also.
Real life couple, yep. That was later filmed actually in my bathroom at my house, Shannon's side of this. Shannon's actually not in the living room. That's why you'll notice the wall is like dark orange compared to the tan or darker kind of burnt orange in the background. But Marcel he was in school in New York or something at the time. He was just here for a short time too, so he spent a lot of time just sitting around and waiting. I think he was probably our first actor that dealt with that much waiting on set, you know, like having to be there for all of filming. Alicia too, she's so pretty. She, like I said before, was a backup dancer for me, and that's how she got involved in this movie actually.
They said they found her in a truck.
Cameras only cover the main entrance and the hallways. There's no way I could have seen that.
This is actually sped up too because Rihanna's line was kind of slow and we sped it up and it came out okay. That's my bathroom.
Loved her. She was his trophy winner. Sorry.
They seem kind of hostile. Maybe you should leave. Like their friend just got murdered and they're all just gonna narc on you. Again, another reason why we have real couples so they can kiss. And again, another bad editing example. Laura's been like my best friend for like ever.
She was on fire this night. I remember, like she had everything down pat.
Yeah, she did. Her phone call that she does later too with Adam on the other line was just superb. Like she was just so good. She was so entertaining. I love this scene. Jen, I thought this was like Jen's pretty much her shining moment, like in the beginning of this movie.
Sweetie, how are you? You must know who I am.
And it's just so like not to toot my own horn, but I like the way I wrote this scene. You know, like it's really funny.
And I actually also really like the physical portion of it, like how big she extends her hand, like she just makes herself a bigger presence by doing that.
Well, another hair shot. She's used to, you know, she's a stage actress too, just like anyone else basically that was in our movies was stage actors or non-actors at all. So she's used to having to be exaggerated. And I get so caught up in these. That blanket in the background behind her, that's there, and then it isn't, and then it is.
It's back. Yeah, it wasn't there when Laura walked up, but now it's there magically.
This was another complicated scene to film too. Like basically any sequence inside this house was complicated to film, and even outside of it, like it was our first time. Script on the stairs, nail polish remover on a windowsill. And those are pictures that we blocked with cards, but they're actually pictures of my family, like my twin sister and my little sisters. I'm up there somewhere. So that would be kind of weird that Shannon would have a picture of me in her house, but that's why. Oh, actually, you can see me.
Jen too.
Yep, my twin sister.
How do you know Sarah?
I like that shot of Audrey too, sitting on that window. Like I like those little light flares.
It was so hot in the house. I remember we have to keep turning on the air conditioning and turning it off
Yeah.
and turning it on.
That baby sure does. My parents weren't originally from Texas.
I like too that we almost had, while we were filming, there was no restriction on how we could use the camera. Like we just tried to keep it steady as best we could. But other than that, we kind of just whipped it around however we wanted to. You know, we didn't really know a lot about shot structure and stuff like that. So, but a lot of what we did, I think, is really interesting. Like, it really kind of gives it a little momentum that it moves the whole time. Whereas Stab 5, like in our next movie, it's basically all on tripod and almost all steady.
First time we see it, Audrey get a little angry.
Right, yeah. All those lines are dubbed too. All those lines with awkward and stuff in the background are all fake. Nobody remembered that they had lines there. That couch dressing changes too, if I remember. That blanket appears and reappears. I think Alicia's hair is now up, and I don't think it was up the whole time
No, it was down originally.
Horrible editing on me again. Sorry guys, I love you.
See y'all.
It's actually fun to play the
Some of
game.
us have to
I
work
call
for
it the
the
stab
babe.
game to see
Not
how
all of
many
us can
things
sit around the house like you.
were there and then randomly disappear or weren't there and
Right.
randomly
Right.
here.
Shannon and Chris Doobie in real life were co-workers, and they were not a couple. So for them to play a couple was awkward for them, and I think that kind of shows, you know.
They were like brother and sister.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, why did you write us as a couple? I'm like, I don't know, I just think you look cute together.
Pretty fucked up shit. Like some really fucked up shit.
Those are my grandparents, actually, that you can see in the background, too.
I'm gonna go if that's okay.
Yeah, it's cool. My sister saw it. And by the way,
And scene.
Fade out.
This was like, I remember, it looks like daytime here because it was, but we filmed under this weird orange sky. So all that orange light in the background is because of the sky. Like, it's not lighting, the sky was neon orange.
Was this in my driveway?
No, this is in my parking lot.
Okay.
Sarah Campbell, who is wanted for murder in Texas,
And
is here in Manchester in this blessed
the light, that we do have a light on the hood that's shining on her face like that to give it that 1920s like horror movie feel, you know, 1960s,
I call it the glow.
50s. Yeah, and it does have a filter on it too, a glow filter. But that orange is all real. Oh, she looked at the camera for half a second. But we all do, especially in this movie. My notorious one's at the end. I stare directly at the camera. This was a fun scene to film, though. Like, Jen really took a lot of liberties with this character and ran with it. Like, I told her, be big. I want it big. And it's hard to talk to yourself, but you get a lot of that in the movies, too. I like to write people talking to themselves because that's what people do, let's be honest.
It's weird, it's so natural for us to talk to ourselves, but it's always awkward in front of a camera to talk to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. awesome.
Hair's completely dry, might I add.
Completely dry. And that's not an actual towel. It's like a towel thing. That
It's like a
holds
hair
it.
genie.
A hair genie, that's
Yep.
what it's called. That like
I just
holds her
went
hair
from
like
Shannon's,
that.
And guess who was there?
So it is
Heather
great that
Gale.
she can emerge out of a
She
shower
was my
fully
friend
made up with
back
dry
in
hair.
Texas. She's a
But she looks
reporter
beautiful.
who
And you would see that in every movie and TV
chronicled my
show,
family's
you know.
murder.
They might tone it down a little, but it was
Thinking
just
she was
easier.
my
This
friend, I
is
told her
leading
everything.
into her first attack scene, so
And she used it against me.
this was, I
She
think you
used
can
me
kind of
for
feel
my
the
story
excitement on set, just even watching her in the
make
scene.
money.
You know something's coming.
To make her famous. Whatever. Anyway, I've never felt so used.
She hated that.
I love that she takes it out like her hair is wet.
Right?
She followed me here.
Oh no, you
And
should
now the
answer your
murderers are
phone
following
because
me.
it's
I
going to be
just-
interesting.
Oh,
Dun,
I don't know what
dun,
to
dun.
do. Should I
Hello.
run again?
That voice has changed so many times over the
It's
course
all
of our
me.
movie.
It's all me. That's the weirdest part. It's just how we edit it and how
Is this Sarah?
I perform it.
I'm just kicking things.
Maybe
Great.
you do,
Just break
maybe
my
you
whole
don't.
house there.
I've been looking for you, Sarah.
A
Who
friend.
is this?
Yes.
I don't like to play games, and I'm not going to ask again. Who is this?
Let's just say I'm a friend.
I just want to play a game. Sorry.
I sound like I'm like what's his name?
I
Fat
just
Albert.
want to play a game.
I just
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey! You want to play a game?
I love her face in this.
Obviously don't know the rules.
That's so
you should
terrifying.
never hang up on someone that wants to play a game.
And why the hell not?
We get that a lot.
Sarah,
People like
your
do
life
eye
depends
rolls
on it.
Right.
while they're saying their lines.
It's getting
Now
dark.
are you ready to play?
Listen,
That way you can stop kicking my
No,
printer.
you listen,
Yeah.
bitch. Play the game or die.
What do you want to come in here and play some
Your
fucking Monopoly?
Do you want to die
Is
tonight,
this it?
Sarah?
Yep.
go to hell.
Don't ya?
Don't you?
What?
I warned you. Don't you want to play my game? Don't you want
That is
to find
available
out
as a
who
t-shirt
killed
on
your
the Stab
family,
store.
Sarah?
Yeah, what kind of game do you want to play? You want to come in here and play some fucking Monopoly?
What's your favorite scary movie?
The one where I tell you that
She's
I
a lead
Now
girl.
she does.
and if
She's
you
a lead
lose
girl.
something-
She can't swear, so that's why she does swear a lot throughout the rest of the movie. But we thought it'd be kind of funny to cut her off as she was swearing, like it was Judy Garland playing Sarah Campbell or something. I love that she threw something at me as the killer, but I hate that you can't see us. Again, though, this was like us by ourselves, you know, so that's like me setting up a camera and praying it works. That was not actually... Audrey actually hurt her knee while we were filming this scene, too, so all the running is sped up because she was limping real bad. And she did. She finished the rest of her scene, and... This was really hard to film, too.
Shannon?
Because of the
Oh my God,
car
I was
audio,
just
we
attacked.
wanted the audio of
I
the
have
cars
nowhere to
driving
go.
by in the background because we were
Where
actually
you?
driving down the
Come
road
here.
with her light on in her car and
Calm
me
down.
filming in front of her.
Thank
Like,
you.
it was
You
not
are my
safe at
only
all.
friend.
Are you okay? Shouldn't you call the cops?
No, please, no cops. I'll explain later.
And again,
No
why I'm
cops.
limited to one
Okay,
angle.
But who attacked you?
Same person
Because we're in a
who
moving
killed
car.
Lucas. You know, the guy from the Stab movies?
I love that shot because you can actually see him, like, from far away. And this camera was hard to shoot far away with. And this was the only scene that we almost got the lighting right in. You know, like, outside, like, the way he was lit at
The
night.
house lighting is glorious.
Because it's all natural.
I know.
I guess the psycho that killed those two other
And we turned on
kids
every
was
single
at
light
your
in the house.
What do you want me to do, April?
Duh! I want you to go home, doofus. If the killer wants Sarah,
That
and
one
she's
kills
coming
me
to
every
my
time. A
house, I
stun
need
gun.
someone here with a stun gun
Yeah.
to protect
He's got a knife, but a stun
I
gun's
can't
fine.
just leave right now. They're really strict right now, considering all the murders.
Would you rather get fired or have your
This was a fun
girlfriend
scene
murdered?
too because the way Adam's character
Hello?
died was
Right,
different
me
from
and
the Scream
I'll
movies.
get
You know,
on
you
to
don't get a lot of things where people don't just get
Sure,
stabbed to
take
death.
your
You know, and
time. Hurry the hell up.
that shot always cracked me up too. The still, but a trash bag over the head. Originally, he was supposed to get stabbed in the head after this happened to him too. And we also had written a different version of it where, I had also written a different version of it where the trash bag got filled up with water instead too, and we drowned him inside the trash bag.
So we can figure out a way to actually make that happen without hurting
Exactly.
somebody.
And he's got real blood on his hand in that shot because his badge, his security badge fell off of him and stabbed him in the hand and ripped it open, and his hand was bleeding all over the place. This was also, this was in the script, but it was kind of additional at the same time. Like, we had kind of cut it and then went back to it to give Jen's character a little something more. I think it's funny, too, because we randomly decided to film it. She wasn't ready, so she's in, like, sweatpants and a sweatshirt and, like, no Heather Gale makeup. Like, this was just, we ran out in the middle of the night and decided to film this. And the house that we're actually filming at is that random apartment building that we used as Sarah Campbell's building. But we don't know anyone in it. That's why she only ran up to the door and ran away. And she was scared, too. Like, she was scared we were going to get in trouble. I'm like, I'll take the hit. And that is the same picture of that house that I photoshopped to make it look like nighttime. I was so proud of that at the time. Because I try to make it match this kind of yellowy lighting that is already inside the house.
I love how much of a bitch Laura's character gets in this scene.
Right. And Shannon's actually, this is another thing that was separate. This is filmed in the hallway of my apartment building, and we hung a sheer curtain over a window to make it look like it was at my mom's house. So if you look close enough at the reflection behind Shannon, you might be able to see, you see the hallway lights, the sconces.
You can see the mirror through it, too. I mean, the window. Through the curtain.
Sorry, she's right.
Yeah, because she was supposed to be sitting on my mom's window, you know. But so we put her in front. It's like one of my windows in my apartment, but it's in the hall. It's actually in the same staircase that Shayna and Amanda get killed in Stab 5.
For the murder of my family, well, I got arrested for it and barely made it off the stand alive.
These shots were also how I first learned that if you zoom in on the computer, it looks grainy.
Capable of committing the murders. I didn't do it.
That doesn't explain why you can't go to the cops.
Heather Gale already accused me.
I feel bad that I didn't show that that's her leg sitting like that, because it kind of looks like she has a boob hanging out.
I would have never thought about that. It's okay, because Shannon looks like she's naked. She's wearing a necklace, and that's it.
That gimp necklace, too. Remember how we tried to get her to take it off in, like, every single scene? We did that to make it look more natural, too. That was our attempt. You're sitting in a hallway, in a window in my hallway, like, put up your hair like you're going to bed. I don't know how many girls sleep with their hair in a ponytail.
A lot, actually.
Oh, good.
Or
good.
a messy bun.
Another experience in texting. You could see that normal footage was what we shot on her phone, and that's why we decided to do stuff like that and add in the pictures. Because what we shot up close was blurry and terrible and horrible. And I feel awful for Laura, because her death scene probably has the worst example of bad audio editing in this movie. It's another example of how I edited it and my computer wasn't prepared to handle it, so it shifted the sound effects. So Laura's standing next to a running car, and it sounds like she's standing in the middle of a racetrack, because there's just so many car sound effects that were out of place that were supposed to be later part of her death scene while she was driving.
I actually wrote that note. Surprise, surprise.
We went, yeah.
She fake wrote it, but it was already written.
Yep.
I forgot all about that.
Yep. Yeah, she fake wrote, and we added in pen sound effects, too, after, to make it sound like she was writing, because she didn't even touch the paper. I don't know why we did that, now that I think about it. So it looked the same in every shot, I think.
Yeah.
Travis.
This is where the audio starts getting really bad for her.
Travis, where did you go?
And I was starting to get lazy. I'm like, nah, you're not going to see the phone screen that time. She's just going to tell you what it said.
Drive where? Finally.
It sounds like me on steroids, like it really does. Like I got all juiced up and decided to go on a killing spree. Actually, it is. Pretty much. I forgot I'm the killer in this movie. One of.
Spoiler if you haven't seen this movie, and if you haven't seen this movie already, though.
Yeah, we've already spoiled 5 and 6 of this, too, so hang on tight. I promise we won't spoil 7 and 8 if you haven't filmed it yet.
Where's my boyfriend?
If you ever want to see Travis alive again, I
He's
suggest
already
you
dead.
get in the car and drive. Now.
Laura was so funny during this too, because she was like, Josh, I'm not an actress. I don't know why in the script it says that I cry. You know this isn't going to happen. I'm like, we can do this, Laura. We can do this.
And find out.
Laura's actually a character in the books that I write too, but that didn't require any acting on her part.
The driveway.
This is one of my
Take a left
favorite
and go
death scenes to
straight.
film, though.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I remember too, Actually, you weren't here for this one.
I wasn't in the car, but I was here.
You'll know.
Because the second half of it, we filmed by ourselves on a street, like in Maria's Road. Like all of this is a steady
What was
cam.
wrong then? Because we were supposed to do it originally. Something happened.
I don't know. We must have had bad lighting or something. Because all of this is in a street. I'm pointing. Obviously, you guys can't see, but this is a random street, and we just had to keep setting up the camera. And a neighbor actually came out and talked to us.
The camera died.
Oh, that
That's
must
what
have
it was.
been it.
Because we remember we filmed the whole night, and then we were out, and she was at the car, and the camera died.
Oh my. Oh yeah! At Mom's house, because we started filming in the driveway. That's right. Totally. I do remember that. This is my little sister's room, and it actually was that much of a mess at the time. I'll give her some credit. She was probably like, what, 11? You know?
Is
But
that the scene I filmed when you come out of the closet?
no, that's way later.
It's been so long since I've seen this
I
one.
know. This was like an extended wake-up scene that wasn't really necessary. Like, this whole thing of her going through the kitchen, like, it was supposed to be a suspense builder, but it just wasn't. That was my favorite shot that I filmed in the whole movie. I don't know why. I thought it was so pretty. I'm like, aw, Audrey's sleeping. But this is all muted, too, because the audio was so bad, and that's why you don't hear, like, when she grabs a bag.
You know what's funny that I'm just noticing is she put her hair up differently than it is now.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Before she went to bed.
Yep. She pulled it back to, like, a normal ponytail.
And here she's got, like, bobby pins in it.
Yeah.
The funny things we notice.
Yep. We get, for some reason, too, a lot of comments that she doesn't put the milk away. Like, people are so upset that she doesn't put the milk back in the fridge in this scene. Like, literally, go on the comments page of this part of Stab 4 and read it, and there must be 20 comments about how she doesn't put the milk away. And how it's on the door. People think it's weird that there's milk on the door of a
My
fridge.
milk's on the door.
And I'm like, really? I'm like, is there, like, one place you're
I love
supposed
that
to
she
put milk?
sniffs it first.
Yeah, that made it so real. But honestly, my mom was on vacation, like we said, so we didn't know if it was going to be good milk. She does. She did. She left it on the counter. Oh, no, everybody. She left the milk on the counter. Leave 72 comments.
And I wrote the note because Laura said her handwriting was terrible. I just remembered.
This was, like, not an easy scene to film either. We actually called the house phone, too, so we could get it to ring like that.
A million times.
A million times. And it kept like randomly ringing or something, or not ringing, and then it would ring at a weird time. Or so some of Shannon's face in this are actually legitimately confused.
Yeah,
like,
because the phone would randomly ring and we cut it out.
Yeah.
It's the one thing I hate, that she talks at the phone.
That was so funny. We told her so many times, this isn't a cell phone. Nobody's on speakerphone, you know, like, just keep the phone on your face. I don't know why that was so funny, but this is probably the funniest moment ever. Like, the spoon as a weapon. Like, that was so funny when we were filming. We're like, yeah, use your spoon as a weapon. That would be so funny. Like, you're gonna
Like
attack.
she's holding a knife.
I never noticed how funny her face was in that close-up.
I was hiding.
Yeah. Watch the fridge and the mirror in the dining room for reflections of people hiding in other places, Rachel or me or...
I was literally squatting right next to Shannon.
Nah, not so hungry.
How many times did we ever bite that apple? I forgot too.
So
Sometimes
many.
the use of props that we would do normal things with is very awkward on camera.
Yeah. We're like, why are you biting that apple so weird? She's like, I'm just biting the apple. We're like, oh, it looks funny though. Bite it again. You know?
Like she's attacking me.
Right? The light on this too is beautiful. Again, daylight. Like, that's like, I think good advice to give to any filmmaker. Film your whole movie in daylight, because look what it looks like. Like, it's beautiful.
CJ made me see both of the Stab movies.
This one took a long time too, because it was a really in-depth, complicated line, and Shannon didn't really grasp the history of the Stab movies, that they were the Scream movies, and she hadn't seen all the Scream movies at the time either. I was actually amazed with how many of our actors hadn't seen all the
I
Scream
can't
movies.
even discuss this. Like, you should be watching this.
How many times do we tell Jen Mallard too, like, you're Heather Gale, you're not Gale Weathers, and the Stab movies are inside of the Scream movies. So the Stab movies are different from the Scream movies? No, honey, they're inside of them. Okay, so they're completely separate. They have nothing to do with, no, they're exactly the same. That was so much fun though.
It's
Like,
a movie people are watching within the movie.
I feel like even some of the fans, like, it gets hard to understand how many levels of reality there are. Like, so, because Scream was set in their own kind of reality, then Stab is set in the reality of Scream, but it's obviously fictional because it's a movie inside of Scream. And then we added levels of reality to the Stab movies too. You know, what is real, what is a real Stab movie, and what is real life. And I think that's kind of the biggest part of the series is playing on that. Like, Stab 5, it got bigger when we saw everyone as themselves. Like, Sarah Campbell was now Audrey. And then in Stab 6, it got even bigger. They're trying to cast people to play Audrey, you know, and to play you, and to play me, and to play Jen's character, or to play Jen the person. So it gets more and more complicated with every level, and I think that is kind of the most appealing part of these movies to me. That's a nice photoshopping job. The nighttime version of it was not good. This is actually filmed in Jen Mallard's apartment at the time, too. So,
Working.
yeah, and it's supposed to be my office, so we really tried to make it feel smaller and like there wasn't other rooms. But it was hard because it was actually a pretty nice place, you know.
It was her bedroom, wasn't it? Because I recognized the cross.
No, that was actually a different apartment that we filmed the bedroom in for Stab 5. But this living room, this was her living room is what I was trying to say. Sorry, I started that out. It's in an actually completely different apartment building, too. But I liked her apartment in Stab 5. It was so pretty. Like, the way it was decorated was so nice.
Well, I hope you can help me.
I hope so, too.
I was wondering if you could help me
I
find a friend of
believe
mine.
her roommate at this apartment was the original girl that played Dylan that got fired after one scene.
I figured. She's always been a dancer. And I've heard
I
that
love
your
the shots
studio's
of
the
me in
best
this, too.
town.
Like,
You built quite a name for yourself, haven't you, son?
Thank you, but
I was so nervous. I don't know. It was like one of the first times, besides letting you film it, I let someone else like set up a shot. I'm like, Jen, set up a shot of me, and I was. Jen's actually a really good photographer, though, so I should have known she would have been able to get it.
Oh, great. Thank you ever so kindly. You've been such a help.
Really?
And I'm telling you, that old flip camera actually has some pretty quality to it. Like, the movie's smaller, like the aspect ratio, and some of that's my fault. I didn't render it right, because this was 720 HD. Might be, but something about the pixelization of it, they're so small and pristine, and even in the dark, like, look at that, you know, there's no tons of extra graininess. Like, our camera quality and our audio quality has been something that Rachel and I sit down and discuss for hours on end and try to figure out what we're going to do to make it better and how we could possibly fix it and which camera had the best audio. Or
And it's a never-ending battle.
it really is. Like, it's like we're never going to win no matter what we do.
This is my least favorite scene of all. To film, not to watch.
And a lot of this was filmed separately, too.
It was just a mess. Outside, we're learning that outside filming is very difficult.
Especially
At night.
if you don't have a way to light it. Like real film crews, you know, they have like lighting rigs and cranes that are holding huge lights above everyone. Like, we had this one tiny light that we were pointing at everyone, making it look like they were filmed by flashlight. You know, so some of the lines in here are funny though. Like Rihanna's little banter back and forth with her was funny. But for the most part, this was everything outside here was really, really challenging to film. And the bugs, remember the bugs and the heat?
And of course, because we were lighting everybody, because it was so dark outside, the bugs were flying everywhere we needed them to.
Especially when we get to Marcel and Alicia's makeout scene later on. That area, because we were further deeper into the woods. Most of this is actually in my mom's yard that you can't see, including the swing set that they sit on and have their conversation. And this log. This is all in my mom's yard, but eventually we push further out and we're into the woods. But I love this shot because that's our old camera that we like started filming with and we upgraded halfway through the movie. And I like that you could actually see her on the camera. You know, a lot of times you have to add that stuff in later, so it was cool that we were able to get it to actually work on set at the time. And the log pile while they're at a bonfire, like that was it was just convenient that that's what we wrote and was there. I don't know why I say we wrote, that's what I wrote. I'm sorry. Rachel and I are like attached at the brain, so I say we all the time. Because the Stab movies have become our babies, you know? Without Rachel, I wouldn't probably have kept going, so. I love this scene, too, between Shannon and Doobie, which, again, was filmed separately.
And it was my favorite scene to help coach, because
Right?
Coaching someone to be drunk is just fun.
And Doobie, this was the first time Doobie took his own chance in acting and asked if he could add something into the scene. And all he wanted to add was at the end of this banter when he talks to Sarah Campbell, he wanted to grab his balls. I'm like, yeah, that's funny, go for it. And I think that kind of made him comfortable, and a lot of the other actors aware too. You know, if you have something that you think is going to play well, run it by me, because I'm not just going to say no to you. And there he is, grabbing his balls.
It made him that much more creepy. Look at you, you look like a pixie.
My makeup in the scene, like, you have to understand, I'm running around doing everything here, and then I'm like, oh my god, I have a scene to film, let's try to throw some makeup on me and some hair gel real quick, and I look like Tinkerbell.
I wish I could get those, like, glowy cheeks, though.
Right? I have more bronzer and makeup on than Ashley does. I have more makeup on and bronzer than Audrey does. This is probably some of my favorite shot in the whole movie. Like, I don't know why, I just like them rocking back and forth on that thing. And they're going into sex, so it kind of suggests, you know, they're already thrusting each other back and forth, so it kind of already suggests what's coming.
It's like the infamous scene that got us a ton of views, but at the same time was probably the least glamorous for them to film.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a challenge, too. Like, that swing set is old and not comfortable to sit on, and, like, but there's just something so cutesy about it, you know. We did have a real fire. We did have a real fire. Those close-ups are real. They look crappy, but they are real, and we did use them as transitions. But
we were actually hoping it was going to light more than it did.
Right? This is, I think, where you started filming a lot. Like, a lot more once we started getting to this part of the movie where everyone was at the big bonfire, you know. Because I was in costume for a lot of it, you know. I remember filming this, and you guys are funny. Everyone that watched this as a sex scene on YouTube cracks me up. They're like, we're watching this because it's like porn. What you're listening to is actually me on me. I'm playing the and the because the audio was so bad here that we had to fix it. So I love how many views this video got, because it's millions of views for a sex scene that was dubbed over by me. Like, I don't know if anyone in the world has ever figured that out yet either, but that's me moaning. This is funny too. You know, we really...
And they legitimately tripped like 100 times.
Oh, yeah.
Alicia pushed Marcel down on accident.
Yeah. The time he went down too, like, he really hurt himself. The shot we used, like, he hits his head pretty hard. And this was really, like, sticking to the cheese of the Stab movies. Like, that one scene where they're having sex in the woods, I'll be right back, all that sort of deal, everything. It's all blackness, and the killer pops out of blackness, you know? Like, come on, dude. Why would you walk away when...
And I was actually up on top of your pool.
Yes, on my mom's pool, filming down, me in the costume, and I remember something about these gloves. We replaced them right away because they looked green, so we had to take all most of the color out of that shot so they wouldn't look green. And this was actually filmed twice. There are 2 different versions of Alicia getting her throat slit in this scene, and I wanted to extend her running sequence. That's why there's that heavy chop right there. So half of it was filmed in my mom's woods, and then I want to say a week after we finished filming everything, I went back out to Alicia's house, and we filmed in the woods around her house there. And her little brother actually helped us. Like, he was holding lights, he was running around with the camera for us, you know, every time we need to see both of us. But we really did get a lot more shots to use. Like, all the shots of her feet, her running. And you'll see that's why she's covering herself, is because we've already filmed her death scene, and her shirt's already covered in blood. So she keeps covering herself so you don't see that. So
but it's really funny because it just leads it. You would never notice that. It looks like she's just terrified. Like.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. If you watch super close, you'll see him. A lot of the shots of Ghostface in these ones are slowed down too, to get him to catch up or to make it look like he was in a proper place that we could see him from. And I think, truthfully, they actually both pop out from behind the same tree later on too. Where does he come running from? I don't know. Right there, yeah. That's actually the tree that she was just behind, but the way we cut it, it looks like he's in a tree further away. And this one, that was longer originally when we did that. Like, you saw more of the slit, but we trimmed it down because we were scared of YouTube, and, like, now look what we've done. But this was really hard to film, and we had no special effect experience, so that's why the blood just kind of starts appearing, and I actually ripped off the prosthetic of her throat during that, So, like, that's why it's cut so funny. And we really just, like, every chance we could, we tried to fix stuff, but it was a challenge.
Yeah.
Like, this movie was not easy.
And you have to think, this is the first time we ever attempted anything like this, so.
Right? I don't think any of them actually have been easy, per se, especially death scenes and stuff to make. But we're certainly more comfortable, and I think both of us are able to stay a little calmer when shit kind of goes down now,
This
you
is
know?
the funniest scene.
This was, I think, honestly, the shining moment for Shannon Nightingale as an actress. Like, we should have had her character drunk through the whole movie because she's hysterical. Like, she's absolutely hysterical in this, and I think it would have been more fun for her, too, if we had her kind of drinking all the time.
So if we ever film something or make something where there's a character who has a drinking problem.
Right? They're
It'll
drunk
be
the whole
Shannon.
time. Yeah. I did, like, many times we've thought about, like, going back after all was said and done and redoing everything, like, with higher quality and most of the same actors if we could get them all to come back. And I think we would take, if we had done something like that, I think we would take a lot of liberties with that. Like, Shannon would be drunk the whole time. And there's an excuse for it, too. Like, clearly her family's never around. Like, look at her parents aren't even in any of this movie. You know, we never meet Shannon's parents. So, that was fun to film, too, but it also a pain in the ass. If we couldn't keep up with the light, people would just run out of it, and they would instantly go dark. Like, you can see here, like, Stephanie and Rihanna are lit, but Audrey's so far in the background that's not working. And the girl that just ran away is actually Amanda Goulson, who was the original Mandy Myers, which is Rihanna Warnock in this movie. And then she's also the actress that I originally wrote the part of Dylan for. And she actually contracted cancer, and thyroid cancer, is that what it was? And it was bad, and she had to start doing chemotherapy, so we were never mad at her for not being able to fulfill her parts, but that's why she has that one teeny tiny little cameo that was horribly edited, because we still wanted her to have something, you know. And after she was doing her chemo and stuff, we went for the next movie and wrote her the Dylan part, but it was too much for her, so that's actually how we got the second actress that we fired, and then we finally got Mandy. That's probably one of my favorite shots, and that was something else that was also filmed like a week after production had wrapped, was the pile of dead bodies, me and Adam and Laura. And this is actually filmed, why we went all the way out here to film this, I don't know, but we went out to Crystal Lake, and we filmed it in the woods around there, just so that we'd have deeper woods to film into, and we wouldn't run into any problems. But it was funny because as we were leaving, a cop came in to do patrol, and we're all like in dead skin makeup and covered in fake blood, you know.
That happened in the Gates too.
yeah. Rachel got pulled over after the Gates, covered in blood. For not even having an actual offense. I think the cop just wanted to see her car. The smart car.
The infamous stab car.
Oh, this was not easy to film either. This was filmed, again, like twice because Shannon couldn't come, so she was filmed separately. And the location we were filming at was actually a site of a house that was being built. And it was just trees laying everywhere, like it was just an opening in the middle of the woods that we were hoping to catch some moonlight from. And then all of these shots of Shannon are slowed down because it was literally like 1 o'clock in the morning and I was sick of filming. So now I wouldn't give up, you know, now we'd press through and make sure we got what we needed. But I just took what I had and slowed it down and put my voice over it, so.
The only thing I can think of when I see all of these individual shots of people dying in the woods is how many times we accidentally spilled the blood.
The bottle of blood, like, and we didn't have
We only
that
had
much.
one for this.
And it was a bottle, it wasn't a gallon, it was a bottle of blood. So, it was, we spilled it quite a few times, and it was sad, because we're like, do we have enough blood? Do we have enough blood? Are we going to be able to do them all? That's awesome. So now that we use lots of blood, this scene too, people are always like, oh, but you didn't slit her throat. And if you see the very last shot, you know why. Because we wanted it to look like he tried to slit her throat and she just played dead so that she could live, you know. Oh god, run! Run, bitches, run!
Run, Forrest, run!
This was all filmed outside, and that's why it's dark, and this was a challenge. This is the scene you filmed.
What was that? Oh my god. I don't want
It's actually one of my favorite scenes, too, from Stab 4.
I love how everyone thinks they're safe.
Right. And she definitely thinks she's safe because she's involved in the ending, you know, so.
This
I love her southern accent, though. People hate our southern accents at the end. Like, people are like, that's offensive. Remember that when it first came out, that people were so offended? Uh-oh, watch out, mirror shot. Oh, what is that?
I know who the killer is.
I loved it.
I love the music that Isaiah's put in this, too. It's just so good. That was a hard edit, because the way I wrote it in the script didn't work on set, so it's just kind of like, drop cut, killer's already downstairs.
Move as he dies right now. The game
And it was actually, I kind of edited it together wrong, so that it was kind of my B. My Ghostface lines here actually dubbed
Answer my question.
until that one, until the she did. That's the only one that was live on set. The rest was too muffled, so we had to fix it. This was such a challenge. So this is actually Jen Mallard filming a lot of this too, and I didn't really give Jen any pointers. She just kind of grabbed the camera and ran for it. So you'll see as it goes on that they get quite creative. Like they're turning and moving, and like we're doing weird things, and we just kept rolling with it, you know, because at this point it probably took us a good 6 hours to film this scene.
Yeah.
And it was just
And
like,
it was actually she and I, because I caught some of you when you actually died, and I was like, "Ooh."
yup. And that's where I looked at the camera. The pink blood coming out of my mouth. Yeah, I can't wait for that. You can actually see the bottle of blood in the background at one point too, and you can actually see the bottle of blood in almost all of our movies, even in Stab 6 during
we just cannot figure out how to hide it.
yeah, we use it and we have to put it down so quick while we're filming that it still ends up in the shot. The blinking clock on the stove kills me in this one too. And that's actually a picture of 2 puppy dogs that we added this double shot of Rachel in as.
That you like photoshopped 2 different pictures of me.
Yeah, and I made her look horrible. Like the first one actually, the girl side of you wasn't an ugly picture, you know?
The second one was. It was from our hobo house when we retarded.
Yeah.
That's why I look like a hobo.
I just thought it was so funny. I was like, that's so. And I asked Rachel too.
But you didn't tell me what you were gonna do with them. But I didn't care. When I saw it, he literally made it a surprise. So when I saw it in the movie, I just died for like 15
I told her she was gonna play both of the past twins. I just didn't say how. That's probably one of the best executed stabs in this movie, the way we did that. This is Jen. This is one of Jen's creative shots here. And Audrey, at the end of this, like after she delivers her next line, she actually gets frustrated because she was having a hard time with the line, and she goes, ugh! But we kept going, like right here.
Yes, we are.
This thing right here is art.
This is art, Mandy.
Fucking art?
That wasn't scripted. That was her, but we just kept rolling with it because, like I said, at this point, this was a good 5 hours deep into this, and we're like, all right, we need to finish this scene at this point. We still have a lot of lines to go. We're at my mom's house that we got to get clean before she gets home, so she doesn't know we filmed here, which she found out anyway. Let's just say she wasn't pleased.
Because things were more clean than they were when she left.
I actually just moved the bottle of blood. I don't know if you caught that. I tried to move it out of the shot. And this was actually all of me reacting after Mandy. Not all of it was in the script. I just thought it would be funny that my character would kind of mock her and repeat everything he said, because my character, I always kind of thought, kind of idolized his twin sister. You know, she was the reason that they were killing all these people, and he was lucky enough that she included him, I thought was how he felt. And he was lucky that he got to be in the costume and he got to play the dance teacher, because he's supposed to not be gay. The dance teacher character he plays, he was supposed to be him playing gay. But Teddy's supposed to be straight.
My flesh, my blood.
That's me.
He helps me out.
That necklace that I'm wearing actually is one of my favorite necklaces. It's actually hanging right there. It's from New Zealand. It's a gift. I love it. I call it my lucky charm. The shape of it.
This is me.
Yep.
I can't wait for that.
What the fuck is wrong with you, Mandy?
I don't find them offensive, I just think they're
I
hysterical.
mean, that was the point of it, too. Like, it was supposed to be bad acting, you know? Here comes the pink blood. Oh, yeah, that was a blood capsule. And we're like, oh, this will work so cool. It's a blood capsule. Why is it hot pink?
Yeah,
Script on the table.
Saliva.
Neon pink. I love that. I die like that every time I die. That's how I try to die. I try to fly down a wall. It's so much fun for me, and I always hurt myself. I hurt my elbows, I hurt my back. I
Your
just keep
head?
going.
Oh.
Here we go. Here we go. Rachel's flashback. We had so much fun filming this, though. Like, even though it was such a small cameo, like, Rachel's so good at playing crazy.
What are you trying to say?
We did, this was so intense, too. Like, we made a fake Facebook for Sarah Campbell or MySpace or something, and all the drawings that were hanging on the wall, I still have one hanging on the wall. But this was fun, you know, like, it really was a good way to, like, dive into the background of this character and to see it, and you're so fucking creepy.
How many times did I have to type that?
Life-altering or changing plastic surgery, remember?
Yeah.
This was fun, too. This was also in that other apartment that's only in this movie that we used as the Campbell household. Brett and Karen. Now, Brett and Karen have actually played husband and wife before.
Yep, they're both stage actors.
Yep, and they've played a married couple several times. And that's actually Jen Mallard subbing in for Casey / Shayna, because we couldn't get Shayna back that night. So Shayna was actually filmed in my room, and Jen Mallard was the dead body on the set. Jen actually steps in for Rachel in this, too. This is Jen Mallard under the Ghostface mask.
Because I was working.
Because Rachel was working, yep. So the reason I actually chose Jen to do it, too, is because some of Jen's hair was hanging out the back and was curly. And I'm like, oh, that could be Rachel's hair, you know? Which you don't actually get to, you see it once, I think, but. My horrible shooting. They really gave it up, and I love the effect on the scene, like the red coloring to it is so neat looking. Jen doesn't have a knife in her hand at that point, like it's just a hand. And the blood we used was the first time we had used that corn syrup blood. Brett was not happy that I was ruining his shirt with corn syrup and food coloring, but they were troopers and they stuck through. That was also the night that we filmed all the flashbacks. Like, I think we did all of those in one night. I think I write that line into every movie, too. You'll never get away with this. That's pretty much always in the ending of my movie.
Well, I mean, these movies are still, they pay homage to a lot of the things that regular horror movies do, so.
Exactly.
And that's in every one of them.
Exactly. Because the lead girl's right. She knows. You will never get away with this. This was hard to do, too. We really wanted a great shot of her cracking her in the face with a frying pan. And
she actually did one time, I remember.
Yeah. And they both got hurt a couple times during this. This scene is ridiculously funny, though. Like, it's sped up and so many times. Them grabbing each other's boobs. Like, it's straight up, like softcore lesbian porn. Like, and I remember us on the set, too. Like, nobody could keep a straight face during this. And we really, like, it was the ending, and we were all just laughing so hard by this point.
First bullet hole we ever tried.
And hers came out amazing. Mine's kind of sloppy, but hers looks great. But this, honestly, is where I think the movie takes a turn and people go, whoa, you guys can act. There actually is a level that brings it, you know, kind of back to reality. It is still a cheesy stab movie. It is still the crazy southern lady with her crazy accent.
And I was so creeped out. I remember while I was filming this, when she does her, like, creepy laugh while she's, you know, moving towards Rihanna, I was like, ugh.
She just tore it up. Like, throughout the rest of the scene, too, she laughs. Like, she's insane. Like, she was funny throughout the rest of the movie. You thought she was just a little, like, out there, you know? And then you find out she's complete fucking crazy. Batshit crazy.
Clinical.
Like, and even these, besides the last one, like, her kicking her, even though you don't see it, like, it looks scary. Like, she looks like she's hurting her. And the rib cracking noises that we added in, like, I love that, too. That was Jen's, like, notorious outfit. Do you remember that? Like, the black pants and the black shirt, like.
Good kid.
She's all black on black.
Yeah. It was cool, like, without even being intentional, a lot of the characters had a lot of themes. Like, Audrey wears a lot of polo-like shirts and even the polo dress, you know what I mean? And your wardrobe, like, how great was your flashback wardrobe? It was just like a wife beater, you know what I mean?
And my high school sweatshirt, actually.
Yeah.
I was out of school for, like, 7 years at that point.
So perfect.
And I found it in the bottom. I'm like, I don't care.
Right? Like, it was just, like, a lot of stuff.
But if you notice, even in most of these movies, my wardrobe consists of some sort of tank top and a shell for it.
Yeah.
Like, always.
It's like everyone, without, whether it's intentional or not, has a structural character base, even to their costumes. Me, every time you see me, I'm in a dress shirt. Besides the opening of the scene, because I was dancing, you know. But all of Stab 5, that's pretty much all I wear is dress clothes, you know what I mean? Stab 6, you don't get to see what I was wearing. Oh, you do. You see my yellow t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to go a little more emo-like in Stab 6, a little more modern, as opposed to me being dressed up. This was real Josh, not actor Josh or director Josh. This was Josh killing people Josh. That was me trying to get creative with the camera. Look at all the stuff on the table. Cigarettes, water bottles. I'm sure there's a Coke can over there somewhere.
And we cleared that table so many times.
So many. After I get shot in the head, too, you can see the bowl. We had a little bowl full of blood that we were using to put blood into the head wounds. And it's sitting on the table with, like, a bloody straw. And This was hard and funny at the same time, too. Their whole sequence together, like, it was kind of a riot filming this part because we never knew what Audrey was going to do because she was supposed to be, like, she got stabbed, she was unstable, you know. That was a tribute to Scream, sticking her finger in my wound.
But I just love when you come out of nowhere.
Yeah, see, that's the bowl of blood on the table.
Yeah.
Right on top of the glass. Cigarettes are still there, but other stuff
More
has
stuff
moved
has been
around.
added, yeah.
The blanket that was once in the hallway is on top of the dog crate. That was hard to film too. Like this whole sequence. That's why some of the editing's so off.
I'm sorry, I laughed because when we filmed this, we had to do it like 20 times
Oh
because
yeah.
she said something different every time she was choking her, and it was hysterical.
Hysterical. This was funny too. We're like, oh yeah, let's do the cat and mouse game. She even calls it the cat and mouse game. A lot of these lines were ad-libbed toward the end, like when they were just running around because it wasn't scripted, but we knew the movie was only an hour and 10 minutes. You know, we needed at least 15 extra minutes or so or whatever. And we still only ended up with like an hour and 14 minutes.
And what's interesting, I think, about
Best
this
special
movie,
shot.
Yeah.
Best special effect shot I think we've ever done. Her getting shot in the head. You were saying?
Sorry, I was going to say, I think the most interesting thing about this movie is before we learned how to really do things out of order, because we had a limited amount of props for this movie, we really had to film everything in order, basically.
Literally, or we wouldn't have the right things at the right time, or they'd be broken, or, you know.
So this was the last night, obviously. Well, this wasn't. These are the credits, but
Right.
that was the last night. And then we actually had a helper on set, one of my friends, and we jumped in your pool in all our clothes because it was so hot. That was our, like,
so hot.
celebration.
So this movie was extreme heat, the next movie was extreme cold, and then back to extreme heat.
We can't get it right.
No, we're aiming.
We need to
this
learn
time
spring and fall.
Yeah, like we're really trying. And these are different photo credits too, thing you'll see in Stab 5, or especially in Stab 6 because we didn't do them. But at the end of Stab 5, they're all still photos instead of moving, and I've never really decided which one I like better. I kind of like seeing these slow motion takes of everyone.
I do too. These are my favorite. I like the
that shot of
video
Brett is
credits.
gold right there. Yeah. So I think we'll have to make these for Stab 6, and then at the end of Stab 7, maybe more video credits. So, well, we're running out of time, so we definitely want to say thank you all so much for watching this movie with the added commentary, and we hope you learned something about the way we used to make movies and the way we develop the characters and how everything works. Rachel and I are definitely going to try to continue and do some audio commentary for Stab 5 and Stab 6. And keep your eyes peeled because Stab 7 is coming out this year.
We're in the process of casting, so it'll...
Look at you, look at you.
Scary face.
We're casting. And we should say thank you to all of the sponsors we had for these movies too.
Manhattan Fabrics, the Ferrandinos.
Thank you guys so much for everything you did. All those Scream websites too that helped support our first movie and our second movie. Pilates at the Mill that let us film. Thank you all so much for everything you did. And like we said, keep your eyes peeled because we're coming back.
We love you guys.
Love you
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you for your support. Peace.